Hey, it's Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Your Rose podcast, now with the Digital Network. How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get started, lots of things always happening with Wrap Your Head Around Silks. Roll it out. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, to foam roll our aerial problems away. This has changed my practice so much. I am no longer in chronic pain. I figured out a way to maintain my aerial body. I would love to see you. We do Zoom, we gossip, we chat. I'm able to focus in on your problems because it's still a pretty small class, and I'd love to have you there. Please go to the show notes to sign up. And if you wanted to do any of the other resources that I have on my website, I have a full comprehensive beginner to intermediate silks course, especially if you're kind of out there teaching yourself on a home rig or something like that. A lot of guidance for you guys. 12 modules. It touches everything. So that might be great for you. Also, we have aerial rehab, which is for postpartum, post-injury, post-surgery, meant to be the bridge between PT and your favorite aerial class. So check that out. Of course, I have a free mini course if you want to just get to know my style. Okay, Bean, do you want to help me introduce this guest? Go ahead. Okay, so this Bean is a little sicky. She had a fever this last night, and she has stuffy nose, runny nose, but it is changing from stuffy to runny. So I think we're on a good track. Right, Bean?
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the listeners?
Goo goo gaga.
Goo goo gaga. Okay, guys, today we have Amanda. I am not going to butcher her last name, so she's going to say it herself. We talk about postpartum OCD. I talk about my postpartum anxiety. She had 3 kids. The first one, she was 20 years old. She's now 31. And she has her youngest has some stuff going on where he has lesions on his brain and his heart, and he is going into 2 surgeries this November. So she talks about that towards the end, if you want to jump to that. All right, my friends. Yeah, what else would you like to say to the listeners? Is that it? Okay, guys, let's get started.
My name is Amanda Chagnon. I'm from Massachusetts, pretty close to Boston. I'll be 33 in October. Oh, wow. I'm married to my husband, Connor, and we have 3 boys. Jameson is 12. Julian will be 6 this month. And then Alexios just turned 2 last month. So
wow,
excuse me.
Wow,
yeah.
you are busy.
Yeah. I know. I feel like summers too are like kind of crazy, but it's good. It's just a lot sometimes. We homeschool too, so we're together a lot, it's beautiful. But sometimes it's just it can be overwhelming for each one of us. But it's really beautiful. When I wasn't at home, I was still homeschooling. We started homeschooling in 2020 when all that COVID stuff happened, but I was working as a nurse. And then when I had Alexios, he was diagnosed with a genetic condition, so that caused a lot of medical complexities. So I had him in 2022. So I've been home full time since then. And then pretty much aerial has been like an inconsistent outlet for me. I think I found I went to a Cirque du Soleil show. I think a lot of people, I feel like, start off with that, but it was like over, 10 years ago. I saw these beautiful performers, and I was just so inspired by watching them. And I was like, oh my gosh, like how could someone get into doing, like, it's a regular person doing that? How does anyone do that? So I remember I was on Groupon, and I saw some sort of promotion for hammock in someone's like studio aerial house / aerial area. So I just signed up and I went down, and I remember doing a coffin for the first time, and I'm like, what am I even in? And this is so amazing. And then the woman ended up having to move, and she started her own practice in a studio with these amazing high ceilings. And then I started doing silks, and movement has just been a blessing for me. I can't say that I ever like got advanced at it, but what I was able to accomplish was just so fulfilling in itself. So till this day, I still dabble in it. I became friends with one of the instructors at the same studio, so I'll go over her house and do privates, and whether it's the trapeze or the silks, those are my two favorite. I'll be in there, and I still get to do new things and see how strong, I can be. So it's really encouraging to have an outlet, especially when you're a human and just going through human things. So I thank God for that. I can definitely find a way to release stress, and it's such a beautiful opportunity to move your body.
Yeah. Amanda, when did you start? What year or how long ago?
Yeah, I think it was like I'll say 2014 is when I first started.
Okay, so you're like 10 years into your practice on and off.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, because like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I know. Wow, time goes by quick. Yeah,
I know. It's true, especially when you have kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 years, that means you started after your first kid and then somehow picked it up, kept on picking it up after you had 3. So let's talk about that journey. I think one of the reasons why women tune in is to see how other people are managing that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah.
So did you guys plan to start a family, or did it kind of happen?
Well, so I had Jameson that's my oldest. I had him when I was 20. Yeah, 20. So I actually I had him prior to like getting married or meeting my husband now. So I was very young and very how do I put this? So I'll just say I was pretty lost. So, but I had him, I had my family, and I found Ariel a couple of years in. So that helped me with like any anxiety or trauma. I was diagnosed with OCD at the point. I didn't know what I was going through, but when I started moving my body, through Ariel, it was helping with the work I was doing. And it was helping me just, kind of along with my faith as a Christian, but it was helping me sustain all the challenges I had of being a young mom and, trying to go to nursing school and just kind of living with family. It was a long road, but I met my husband when my oldest was 5. And so, just thank God I found him, and he was a wonderful person. And my son has always looked at him as dad and calls him dad. And we ended up having surprising, another baby. And then, and we got married. And then after that I always wanted kids. And I think he was just like, I think you did too. I can't really remember all our conversations, but children were definitely important to us. So, kids and, raising a family was definitely important to us. That's a long answer for your question.
No, that's fine. So, oh man. All right. I'm going back. Like,
yeah.
What was it mentally to have a kid at 20? Because it's different for a lot. Like I talked to a couple people and it runs the gamut, so it's not necessarily the same for everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, like my situation was difficult because like the person I was with wasn't like, we weren't stable together, and we were, we'd known each other for a long time. So he just wasn't able to, he had some struggles. He wasn't able to be the person that I needed, or our family needed. And, it was really hard because I know people who like are married and have babies that young and not, it's there's challenges in itself, but I leaned on my faith a ton, and I still made tons of mistakes. But I think with Jameson, he's been, I don't know, like he like saved me in a way. Like he helped me see a lot of beauty, and my family was there for me. Like I'm thankful I had my family, my grandparents, my parents, my siblings, there was just people there friends that I could lean on, and my faith was huge. And I just remember crying in the church, and, people just loved me, and they loved my baby, and we got to grow up in that. And then when I met my husband, it like totally changed too. And, there's another person, a lover, my son, and, so that's his dad. And that's, I remember just to tie this in, like sending him when we first started dating a picture of me doing aerial. He's like, "Oh my gosh, don't fall!" Like he had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, "But no, this is amazing." So yeah, I think, just along the struggles of being a young parent and a single mom, it was definitely hard. But I had family to support me, so I wasn't alone.
Okay, let's go to the physical stuff. Yeah. The pregnancies, I know it's not super fresh, maybe, but can you talk about any things out of the ordinary? If you had any emergency C-sections, if you had any postpartum depression, anything that stands out to you? Yeah.
So I think with most of I think Alexi, the last pregnancy was probably better, but most of my pregnancies, there was a lot of peripartum. So during pregnancy and then after, I had a lot of anxiety, symptoms. So it was mostly, which I think caused depression in itself, when you're not feeling in control. So it was a lot of that. So I definitely got I was in therapy, and I had a peripartum psychiatrist through one of the hospitals in Boston. So she was really good working with me during my pregnancies. And I'd say staying active too really helped. But, there were times where I was I didn't know what to do. It was almost like I was anticipating postpartum depression or anxiety, at its fullest. It was always this anticipatory anxiety. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. It was really hard with the first pregnancy, but because I had never gone through it before. So then after, I knew what to expect. And then I had extra support. I didn't have, they were all vaginal. I didn't have any C-sections, but I will say I have an umbilical hernia from the last one, which, it's okay, but it changed my body, so that for me is a little hard. Diastasis recti, it's not that bad, but you can see some splitting. But other than that, I think we all have our challenges with pregnancy, and some people love it. And, I definitely, I love it, but it doesn't mean it wasn't necessarily a walk in the park either. So I think relying on people for supports, whether they're medical or familial, definitely helped me. And then being able to move. So I was able to do aerial maybe a little bit with my pregnancies, but I got big, and I was like, I'm going to stay on the ground for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I only, in my lifetime, pregnant once, one kid. I'm now not trying to, I'm also 47. So we're happy with our being. And I had pretty bad postpartum anxiety disorder after.
Yeah.
And I can imagine if it was different and I wanted more kids, if I was more on your timeline and was younger, I would really, especially because it's anxiety that I had, I think I would be anxious for it to happen each time too.
Right. Yeah.
For it to just repeat itself, because that challenge, the challenge is coming the next time around. Yeah. Most likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, and if you have more kids too, it's oh no, now I have to keep more than one alive and be okay, whatever that looks like. So I think, I guess it goes down to getting the right type of treatment. Because I didn't know I had OCD till I had the first one, and I was dealing with intrusive thoughts and not feeling I felt lack of control times 100, and I couldn't explain it to just anybody because I was afraid someone would call child services on me if I was going to tell them what was going through my mind. So then when I got I became educated on what was going on. It's we all have thoughts. My brain just sticks on them. Some people don't even realize the thoughts that they're having and a feeling just comes and goes. Like, it's hard to say that when someone's in full-blown panic. Like, you have to bring them back down to, I mean, hopefully baseline is stable, but you have to bring them back down to the ground again. So that's when you'd probably like splash cold water on your head or something. But those are things I would do. But basically, I think I lost my train of thought. This happens a lot.
Oh, no, it happens to me constantly, and I only have one.
Yeah. But yeah, basically educating yourself and then having that self-care regimen. But that doesn't always happen either. Like, you know, even with 1 kid, 3 kids, whatever you're. So it's, I had to educate myself. This is what I had to educate myself on what was going on through my doctors, through my own research, because even the doctors I was meeting did not know what was going on with me. All right. And that said a lot. This was like, 12 years ago, but still I felt like I was alone. It was a very hard place to be in. So I'm really happy. Like, I remember seeing 5 years later, these cards at the pediatrician's office, like, postpartum anxiety, postpartum OCD. I'm like, where was all of this before?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, at least we're making strides here. But I remember, like, I went to the ED. I was like, this is what's going on with me. My baby, my oldest was an infant. I'm like, and they sectioned me. They wouldn't let me go until like a social worker came and talked to me. And then child services came the next day and talked to me. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're just like, I feel like you're being punished for going. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm being punished too, when all I'm needing is some help. So I went to Mass General in Boston, and they were wonderful. Like McLean, like they all knew what was going on. I just, I was a young woman. I was a young girl. I felt like I was still a kid, and I had no idea what was going on. So now I talk about it all the time. It's like so normal, and it's part of being a human, and it's part of, there's evil things in the world, and there's things that's garbage that goes in through our head. You don't have to identify with it. If that makes sense.
Oh man, that was only 10 years ago. And yes, the awareness around things have really changed.
Yeah.
But I didn't even, and it's because I never researched it, because if I didn't know it was coming for me, right? Yeah. I had heard about postpartum depression. Aww, but I hadn't heard of like postpartum anxiety, postpartum OCD, postpartum psychosis, all those different versions of what you can go through right after the baby. Especially if you're already leaning one way or another. Like I have been treated for anxiety for a while, so it's already there, and then the hormones dip down after the baby comes out, and then you're just kind of hit with a wave of whatever you were going to get hit with. And it is, I don't know if you can characterize your OCD the same way as I characterize my anxiety, but I characterize it as super painful. It's very painful for me to experience it the way I've had in my life. Like, it's very painful. And I don't know if other people characterize it that way. Like when they say they're anxious, maybe they have different adjectives, but I consider it super painful because it put me so low that I couldn't get my breath. I felt like I couldn't function in the world. Like it was the worst thing I've ever, over time, the worst thing I've ever experienced. Yeah. My anxiety. And OCD is kind of like so interesting. I have a friend who talks about it all the time. Like, yeah. It might be like a step in the other direction where you put action to your anxiety. Would you characterize it that way?
I can see what you mean. A lot of my compulsions were like you couldn't see it. They were intrusive, mostly just intrusive thoughts that I was obsessing on. So you wouldn't see me be compulsive, maybe physically. Opposed to someone else with OCD who had, trouble with hygiene. Like there's different forms of it, but for sure, it's an anxiety disorder of itself. So it's definitely like in that, anxiety umbrella, but it was painful. I can relate with that. And I'm so sorry. Like I'm sorry you went through that experience, but at the same time, I think it gives, and not that I wish anybody to have like negative ailments in their life, but like, I think it gives people a lot of empathy, and, we all like go through things, and that's part of, we're not perfect beings, and like we're made perfectly in God's image, but there's still a fall, there's still an issue here, there's still sickness, there's still all these other things that we have to go through. And so it was definitely painful, and it was definitely painful when because I cared so much about people thought of me, and the fear of like, oh my gosh, someone is gonna deem me or insane, like not be able to take care of my child. It was those were scary things, and then just painful, like to have to deal with these thoughts. And I felt like a monster. I remember feeling that way. And when you looked at me, you didn't see a monster, but I totally felt like one. So I think with Ariel and just being creative in general, I think was an outlet for me to feel safe and feel like connected with, who I genuinely am. So I can totally, I wish I could hug you. That is, that's,
oh, yeah. Well, you know what? You're talking to a Carrie that's like 9 years, like I did 9 years of therapy.
I like
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, Bean, what's up? Oh, we have a sick Bean here.
Hugs to her.
You want me to hold you? Okay. Look. Okay. Oh, you're getting bigger for me to hold you. Okay. She's gonna be 5 in October. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
But don't talk.
That's really
don't
cool.
talk about you. Got it. Okay. So, all right. No, it like. I did a lot of work around it, and actually, I decided to go off my Zoloft in my pregnancy because I just preferred not to have any medicine in me that didn't need to be there.
Yep.
Why? Because we're just doing the audio, Bean. It's okay. I can turn on the camera for you to say goodbye if you want. She likes to say goodbye to my guests.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I thought I was fine because the pregnancy hormone kind of took over.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I wasn't thinking to myself like that it was going to come crashing back.
Yeah.
And it did in the worst way, and I spiraled. So and then my partner didn't necessarily have a way of understanding it exactly, and then also he was just as sleep deprived as me, if not
right.
I mean, I would say not more because he doesn't have all the hormones, but he would like be up all night with her and just go to his job the next day.
Wow.
Or
right.
half the night. It's not like he was getting a full night of sleep.
Right.
So he probably had some postpartum stuff going on too without the hormones.
Yeah.
Just from like the restlessness, not getting enough sleep. So it was a hard time, and you did it 3 times. Like every time I talk to these moms that have multiple kids, like I think it is a complete racket that women have to have birthed the baby either through like their vagina or like major abdominal surgery and are just sent home with this human, and you have to do everything. And if you have family, that's great. But if you don't,
right.
And then imagine having to do that with a toddler at home. I just like, now that I am a mom and then I'm living in America, it's just so clear to me. And I'm living in a big city that is not necessarily family oriented.
Right? Oh, right?
Yeah.
I had that realization the other day. I'm like, wow, this is like, it's just crazy. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like my mom came from Lebanon. Like I remember living with my cousins upstairs. We were downstairs. My grandmother was always over. Like everybody just like helped and took care of each other. And it's like, now it's like a weird thing if you do that in America. Like they make it weird. It's like, you have to leave your parents as soon as you can, So, and it's just, that's not the way. That's not culturally what we came from. That's
correct.
The opposite.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And like nowadays, the families in at least in big cities, if you move to a big city and you don't have your family around you, which is now becoming quite clear to me why people move back to wherever they, grew up. Yeah. It became so apparent to me how like America / LA doesn't like families or children. Like hates, actually. Let's use the word hates.
Seriously. I mean, I think it's a money scheme too. Like, people, the state that you get paid when you get divorced, like the money is made from that. Money's made from all these negative things that happen. And I think, if anything, like the thing, like we're supposed to love and support one another and families. And I swear, I think I even became brainwashed at one point. It's like, oh, we have to get away from our family and do everything ourselves. It's like, who said that? Like, why did I even think that? That's such pride talking. Like, no, I want my family. That's the beautiful part of having family, of having an extended family. And I know some people don't. And that's like, I don't have what my kids don't have what we grew up around. We have some, but they don't have what I experienced. And that I feel it's like a loss, I just had cousins and aunts and uncles and everybody just came by. It was beautiful, and I don't know. I wish things, I pray that things would be different one day, but we're in America and, I don't know. I hope to go back to like where my mom came from. I don't know. Where are you from? My mom was born in Lebanon, so I know I have family there that I'd love to visit.
So you're Lebanese. I'm Chinese American. So I born and raised here, like emphasis on the American part. Like, so what happened, Bean?
Where was I?
Where were you? You weren't born yet, my love. Oh yeah. Like my mom and dad both came from families of 9 children.
Don't talk about
I mean, it's crazy how many cousins I have out there that I've never even met. Don't talk about your grandparents?
Yes.
Why? They're part of the story, Bean.
Well, I don't want to.
Okay. We have a very sicky Bean. We're going to...
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Also, I think, for me, I definitely did I'm moving to a big city across the country by myself, and I only know one person.
Right.
And that whole story, that's me. And I announced on this podcast like 2 episodes ago, although the way it's coming out, the way it's going to be dropped out to the public, it would have already happened. But me and my family are moving to San Antonio, Texas next week.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's a huge change. I've been here for 24 years and, moved here for the dance industry and the commercial, for Hollywood.
Yeah.
You and Papa.
Oh, wait, you're in Hollywood right now?
Well, I mean, I'm in Van Nuys, which is just over the hill.
Yeah. Okay, I don't even think I knew that you were in California, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm in LA. I teach at Womack and Bowman The Loft, and I've been there for somebody told me I've been there 8 or 9 years as a teacher.
Don't talk about the studio.
I'm talking about the studio because it's a big part of my life. And I basically told my students 3 weeks ago that I'd be leaving, and it's been really emotionally
Don't talk about my thing.
Hey, listen, it's my thing. I have to do a little bit of therapy around this because it's like
party too.
It's partially, yes, we're doing a party. There's a lot of love, but then it's emotionally heavy because all of the trauma that I'm creating for them by abandoning them, basically is I need to absorb it somehow.
Yeah.
So and I don't use that word lightly. Like, they're losing their aerial mother. I'm sure you have a teacher that has taught you from the beginning or whatever.
I hear you. I mean, I think that's a heavy burden to put on yourself, but it also is a really that you're very loved, clearly. So
yes,
I think
and
you're very loved.
I mean, without using too many heavy words, it is true, and they're dealing with it well. Like, no one's cried in front of me.
Yeah.
But then also it's not just me as their individual teacher. It's like they're all kind of glued together for the fact that my class is a mini community. My classes are a mini community.
Right.
And then that community is going to dissipate kind of, because even when another teacher takes over that time slot, not everybody's going to choose to come back in the same way, and then it's not exactly the same structure. So, I've had kind of the same thing where like my teachers kind of move on and the community around them kind of dissipates, and it's a loss. So, Amanda, so many of the guests that come on here are just like, I asked them after if they were nervous, and I was like, don't worry, I'll make it about myself almost half the time.
No, you've been wonderful. I feel like I've been talking too much. I mean, we're here to learn. Yes, I know. I'm not going to hang up without you saying bye. Like but that's part of it. It's just like people learn about me through the conversations, and then also they're coming here for like that very like, those stats, like, did you have C-section? How did it go? Like did you end up having diastasis recti? Did you end up having postpartum depression? Because there's so few actual studies done on pregnant women, because pregnant women have to, I think a PhD told me that for these studies to even run, they have to be able to guarantee that there's no harm done, right? And how can you guarantee that necessarily? Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to go on forever because this bean is like not having a great day. But Amanda, if you have, I know, Amanda, if you have any advice for, our, yes, Bean, what? If you have any advice for, the listeners out there about being a mom, going through multiple pregnancies, doing it at the age that you did, doing an aero practice, kind of in between, I'd love to hear it.
As a mom, there's setbacks, but there's also so many things you go through that are blessings to you. You're not always going to be able to, like fly as much as we'd love to. And that's one of the struggles I was having, is like, I just want to do it, this many times. And then I had to be realistic with my life. My son, he has a major genetic disorder where he's going to, he just had a G2 place. He's going to have brain surgery. I have other kids. Like, I didn't mention any of this earlier. Probably should have, but it's fine. But basically, I can't compare myself to anybody's journey, and no one else should either. And so my friend told me this one. She's like, if you've been in the air before, you're an aerialist, no matter how many times you've been up there. So I would just encourage people, to take care of their bodies. Hold on, buddy. Like on the ground, like mobility, stretching. That's what I've been doing. That's really just helps me to open up my body, and also like appreciate where I'm at, and you surprise yourself. I was able to invert, off the air without having the silk around my waist and like lift myself off the ground. I couldn't do that before. And if I did, I don't remember, but I was able to do that the other day, and I'm still stronger than when I first started. So, that says a lot about our bodies and our muscle. And, you really, if you want to do it, God willing, it'll happen. I think you just stay persistent and meet yourself where you're at, and life looks different with kids versus someone who is in the studio and is single and can go up as many times as they want. I've been in like beginner/level 1 for the last 12 years, but I'm still really excited because I still do new things. So just keep going.
Oh my God, I love this. And wait, your kid is having brain surgery? Which kid?
I know.
Which kid?
My toddler, my youngest. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
I'm the big sister.
You're a big sister? Okay, that's good.
She's not the big sister.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. No, that kid is smaller than you. You are the big sister. Okay, Amanda, can you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I found out during pregnancy, so in utero, that he had this is kind of a big deal, but he had cardiac, they're called cardiac rhabdomyomas. So he had tumors on his heart. And so I was like, wait, what? I was going to have a home birth, but when I went and got, an ultrasound, I wasn't going to do it. So I didn't felt like I need to, but I didn't feel like I needed to. So, but my midwife was like, just do it anyway, just in case. So I did. And they found something which turned into a few somethings. So he basically had cardiac tumors that they found. So that landed me in Boston basically every week. And then I had an MRI done while I was pregnant, and they found lesions on his brain. So we pretty much associated it with an indefinite diagnosis. It's called Tuberous Sclerosis Complex. So we couldn't test in utero. Well, I wasn't going to because it was an amniocentesis and there was just risks with that. But we tested him after he was born. So he has a genetic condition where his body grows benign tumors. And so he has seizures basically every day. And he just had he has a lot of, he's medically complex. He has a G tube now because we've had some struggles with feeding. So he's been through a lot in the last few years, and we have to try to remove some of these lesions so he can grow and develop appropriately to the best of his ability. So in November, he's going in, I think, for 2 brain surgeries. So yeah, we've all been through a lot. He's been through a lot, but we're doing okay.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is a big deal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know. And, I mean, he's so amazing and we love him so much, but it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of appointments. So.
Well, is this, okay, so he has seizures all the time. How do you manage the seizures? Are you just holding him?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, his seizures look a little, there's different types of seizures. And so he has focal seizures, but basically what his look like is that he'll start to kind of make like a moaning noise. He'll drool, he won't throw up, but he'll slouch, he'll lose muscle tone, he'll fall over and his arms become rigid. And sometimes his jaw will lock. So I still nurse him. So sometimes I have to slip it out so I don't get bit. But and he's on 4 different types of medications, like multiple times a day. So we think that's what caused his difficulty with eating actual food, because he was forced medication multiple times a day for 2 years. So that's been really hard. I mean, it all sounds really overwhelming, but we've had 2 years to kind of process everything. And even like with therapy, like my husband and I, it's been hard on everybody, grandparents, everybody that knows him. So, but we keep praying for him, and everybody's been so wonderful, our church community. And sometimes I'm just like, I need to go hang upside down. So I've been working on like headstands or something. I just, to regulate myself. And it's a lot. It's definitely a lot on paper when you read about him, but he's so wonderful. And I don't know, someone said it was a burden the other day. I'm like, you can't say that. Only I can say that. And he's not a burden. She meant well, but still.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You have a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. And then you have the 2 older kids. Yeah, I'm thinking of you guys. Thank you. Surgery. Surgery for an adult is scary.
Right? I know. I don't think I've ever had a surgery. Maybe my wisdom teeth, but I'm like, wow, you've like done way more things than I have in my life.
A bad guy.
And that's coming up for you guys.
Bad guy.
Yeah, November.
Okay,
yeah.
So maybe we'll do a check-in with you next year.
Oh yeah,
and just like to see kind of how everything has gone. But yeah, the community, community is thinking of you. My goodness, it's a lot.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Amanda, I love getting to know you and just thinking about you so much for these next couple months, because, as we said, even an adult in surgery, it's scary. So thinking about you, and we will do an update after all of that is behind you. My friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. If you'd like to be in the podcast, just send me a DM or email me, Carrie@wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com. This is for you guys. It's for the worldwide community. So if you have a story that you'd love to share, please reach out. I'd love to have you as a virtual student. So if you go to the show notes, there's links for all of my online resources, free mini course, comprehensive beginner to intermediate, and aero rehab as well. I'd love to have you guys there. And check out Greener Grass. It's the podcast that I do with Kelly McVeigh. And we talk about so many things that you might care about. And then we also just gab. We have so much fun.
please leave me a 5-star rating and review. It makes such a huge difference. So I would appreciate that with all of my heart. And thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Over and out. This is Carrie with Wrap Your Head Around Sucks. This is the Expecting Your Podcast.